But yeah, it's October. It's October 23rd. Uh, yeah. So time for this edition of the Wealth Code Unlocked, episode 17. This edition is closing out the year like a pro. So the year-end financial playbook. So very excited to bring this information to you because I know that a lot of folks really struggle uh, with with the year end documentation and making sure that they're ready for the year end. So we're going to break down how to build wealth, protect it, and multiply it. So I'm your guy, AC the Money Guy. I got my co-host, Dr. Shanann Huie, the Tax Diva, and we're here to make sure that Uncle Sam doesn't take any more of your hard-earned money than he's supposed to. So today we're helping you close out 2025 like a pro, and um, the ultimate year-end financial strategy. We're talking open enrollment, tax planning, business funding, equipment purchases, and how to finish strong before the ball drops. So this is the season where smart entrepreneurs separate themselves from everyone else. The ones that plan won't be panicking in March when their accountant starts calling them, asking them why they haven't scheduled an appointment to get their taxes filed. And we'll even touch on advanced wealth strategies like the 1031 exchange and short-term rental loophole to show you how exactly wealthy folks borrow against assets instead of selling them. So you're gonna walk away from this one with a checklist and a mindset. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. So so year-end tax prep and tax action plan. I know it doesn't sound real exciting, but I promise you, I'd rather take a few minutes right now to deal with that instead of having to deal with that when your accountant calls, or even worse, when the alphabet boys come knocking on your doors.
Alphabet boys.
Yeah, the alphabet boys. So you definitely want to take a look at that payroll data right now. And you definitely want to take a look at that payroll data right now. And you want to go ahead and make sure that you have everything set up for the year end. Make sure that you have all the accurate information so you can get out those 1099s and W-2s. Make sure that there's no discrepancies with there's no discrepancies with any of those documents at the year end. So you want to take a look at that. I mean, we just got a little bit more than 2 months before the year end, so it's a great time to kind of take a look at that. And you want to take and verify those totals before December 31st. The last thing you want to do is send out those year end documents. The last thing you want to do is send out those year end documents, and stuff is not complete. So, but also if you're planning to make a big purchase, so buying equipment or vehicles, let's do it strategically. And let's using section 179 and bonus depreciation, that can give you a nice deduction this year if you play it right.
Okay, hey, AC, I was running a little bit late. Things happen. This is real life. When we talk about wealth is health, and wealth is more than just health, is having patience and making sure you take care of yourself and take care of other people. So what most people miss are deduction, which can reduce your taxable income, while a credit is a dollar for dollar reduction in your taxes. Oh, credits are stronger. Like we used to say, what you say, cash is king, credit is queen. Now we flip it around.
Flip that
Flip
thing.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Credit counts for so much these days.
Right.
You definitely want to leverage that. And if you're in retail, let's don't forget about Q4 funding. Fourth quarter is usually a strong quarter for retail businesses. Lots of holidays, lots of people celebrating, eating, shopping, doing all these things, taking great care of their family for celebrating whatever their holidays are. So it's the busiest time of the year, but also for retail businesses and some other businesses that are seasonal, cash flow gets a little tight. So it's a great time to take a look at that.
Okay, and be safe out there too. There's a lot of things going on, with the economy the way it is. We just have to keep it real. He's talking about retail business. Be careful, especially women. Check yourself, check behind you, check your surrounding. Don't walk outside the stores. I know we're in this mindset right now. We're in the Christmas mode. We have to get stuff for our kids and we have to get stuff for our loved ones. But be careful when you're walking out. I heard a good tip. walk out with another woman or walk out with somebody that doesn't look threatening, because there's a lot of things going on, especially in the metropolitan area. Remember, we talk about wealth is health. Wealth is keeping yourself safe. Also, having that mindset that, you're looking out for yourself. So it
Yeah,
is quarter for funding time. But we got to
no,
mix business and we got to mix reality. We got to mix what's going on with what we're doing, because at the end of the day, it's for us to all get home safe.
oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And while you're at it, giving those shopping tips, don't leave the bags in the back seat of the car.
Right.
You will not only have to rebuy those gifts, but you
Right.
will be buying windows and possibly a whole new car to go with it. So yeah, let's be smart as we get into that, because safety is paramount. And I mean, as we all know, when times are tough,
Mhm.
um, people resort to
Desperate things.
desperate measures. Desperate times resort to desperate measures. So just make sure you're not an easy target. Like Dr. Huie said, make sure you're walking out with someone when you're
Right.
leaving from the mall shopping. Don't leave that stuff in the back seat of your car, and just be conscious of your surroundings.
Right.
Because people definitely are out looking for ways to come up, and,
Right.
and we don't want any of our community to be victims. So don't let this opportunity pass you by just because you ran out of funding in November. Let's make sure that you're situated so you can go and get those orders in, so you can make that Q4 to make your year.
And another good tip that I found out the other day: if you are spending a lot of money, remember, when you're putting in the plastic in, you're not recognizing what you're doing. Take out cash and set a certain amount. Like if you're gonna go into the store and you want to spend 200, take out the 200, leave everything at home, because I'm realizing when I have my credit card, I'm spending more. Remember, he tell you this is the time when we need to be tightening our belt. Remember,
Yes.
AC told us we need to be tightening our belt. So set a budget and take the cash out. When the cash is done, it's done. It's time for you to get out those stores, because like he said, some funding run out in November, and when it run out, you're left with paying all these credit card bills. Remember, the difference between Christmas and Black Christmas is two different things. So budget yourself accordingly. We talk about budget, about putting away at least $5. So when you go into the store, if you're going to buy gifts, take out $200. I'm not saying if you have to, if you don't have the credit card or whatever, but take out the money and leave the credit cards at home, because you spend more when you have credit cards.
You
in
don't
your
see
hand.
it.
You don't see
When
it.
you go in your wallet, you had $200. You had 10 20s in there, and as you start spending them and you start flipping through buying
Right.
stuff, you realize there's 2, 3, 4
Mhm.
missing, and you can count down. But that's a psychological thing. They do that
Right.
on purpose, because that card looks the same whether you put 10,000 on it or you put nothing on it. It looks exactly the same
Right.
sitting in your wallet, and that's by design. So let's be smart, people. And let's not forget, when it comes up to the holidays and all that, man, it's about love. It's not about breaking your bank, breaking your budget,
Mhm.
going all out of bounds, and setting yourself up with being a whole bunch of debt just for one day.
Right.
Let's strategize. Let's be smart. Let's think about this.
That's what we talk about, strategizing. This is like a family show. We remember we're talking about people in our community, and we're understanding the heart of our community. What he says, strategize. Don't go broke trying to prove somebody that they love you, because most of the time, kids will play with a pot and pan and be happy with it. We're talking about under 5. They'll play with it and be fine. Don't go spending $500, $600, $700 on something. Right now with the economy, the shutdown is still going on.
It is.
Yes.
It is. Yeah. It's uncertain whether even the folks in the military are getting paid on the first. It's all up in the air. So everything is slow right now. So so let's think about that, folks. So that means when you're calling in, if you need help with the IRS or reaching any government agency, you may not be able to reach anyone right now. And let's also just understand that, when it comes down to SBA funding, anything government related, all that stuff has come to a very slow snail's pace, or just grinded to a halt completely. So, that's why we always talk about having those reserves, putting that money aside, because we never know when these things are going to happen. Like we always, every day seems like the day before it, but it emerges to be a little bit different.
One benefit, we're going to be talking about payroll and benefit optimization.
Yes.
But one thing I learned when I was younger, and I take this from 16 all the way up to now, I'm 50 something years old, is buy gold.
Hey,
buy gold. Believe it or not, gold holds its value. Buy gold. And I tell everybody, you buy jewelry, you buy sneakers, you buy this, But if you buy gold, believe it or not, when you're in these crunch times, you
Sure.
can resell the gold. You know how many times gold have gotten me out of like a jam? You can either have somebody pawn it or hold it or sell it or gift it or whatever. And even when you pass away, you can still pass the gold on.
Yeah.
So right now, gold may be very high, but when the economy sort of level out itself, always buy gold. Always have gold rings, gold jewelry, gold bracelet, gold. Because when the time of need, you can always resort to selling your gold or lending it or pawning
Yeah, and that's one of the strategies we're going to dig into a little bit later.
it. Okay.
Is wealthy people don't sell their assets when
Right.
times get hard. They leverage them,
Right.
so they borrow against it.
Right.
And that's one of the areas where that I think we've missed sometimes as a people. Like we'll save the money, we'll build, we'll have the house, we'll put money in stocks and bonds, and then life will happen, and you'll
Right.
need some of those funds. But instead of selling that house, let's refinance it. Let's take out an
Okay.
equity line of credit. Let's take out a secured loan against
Right.
that stock portfolio that you
Right.
have, so that way when you pay it back, you still have your assets. And that's the big thing.
Okay, so this is open enrollment season. I think it starts November 1st.
Yeah, right around the corner.
Right. Time to evaluate your employee benefits. Most small business owners don't realize how much they can save with the cafeteria plan and pre-tax benefit. We're talking about business owner and also employees.
Of
That
course.
right, W-2 employees, because the benefit that you had last year may not be the benefit that you need next year because like my insurance have different tier. It has a tier 1, a tier 2, and tier 3. I went and did my physical and everything is okay. So if you had a tier 2, you can switch down to a tier 1 because you know you're healthy for the next year. And then if something happened, you can bring up the tiers because the tiers cost different money. I know it's the difference between saving $100 to $200 a month when it comes to employee benefits. So look over your benefits before you sign them off. Look at what you're doing. Remember, we talk about wealth is health again. What lifestyle change that you have that you can switch from that what PPO to the DMO or the HMO
Yeah,
or the lower one. Yes,
yes,
because I'm in the
absolutely.
silver. I don't need the bronze. I'm in the bronze. I'm not in the silver or the gold. So my insurance is less because I take care of myself. I eat right. I exercise. I do my mammogram. I do all my stuff. Remember, wealth is health. Go through your benefit like he's saying and see can you drop down just for this year. Can you
Yeah,
drop down? You most likely can if you're in good health.
yeah, absolutely. You definitely want to take a look at it because
Right.
these plans are changing. There's a
I
lot
know.
of things going on, and you just got to read it closely. So
Mhm.
take advantage of that. Reach out to your benefits broker
Mhm.
who's helping you
HR.
with that. Your HR folks. Make
Mhm.
sure you have a good understanding so that you're making those proper selections.
Mhm.
And also, this goes for both sides.
Right.
For the business owner and for the employee.
Right.
Those medical benefits, whether they're a voluntary benefit or whether they're major medical plans,
Mhm.
those are tax deductible on
Right.
both sides of the coin. So the business owner, you're reducing your payroll tax
Right.
because the monies that you were paying, those deductions come off on top. So you're reducing that amount of payroll tax.
Right.
So you multiply that by 10,
Well,
20, 30 employees, whatever you got going on there. It's a
right.
big deal. And then also for the employees. So let's think about that. So if you again come into that word that we use so often in the show, planning and strategy,
Right.
uh, putting that stuff in place so that you can just make sure that you're taking care of and doing the right thing. And also if your payroll's been the same all year,
Mhm.
it's time to review it, because small errors
Mhm.
can create a big tax problem.
Mhm.
So plan that out. Look at your income may have changed,
The
things that may have
W-4,
changed.
change your W-4.
Change your W-4. Things may have changed in your situation. You had a child who you were claiming last year. They're an
Right.
adult now. They're filing their own taxes.
Right.
So look at all those different things.
It's something I want every business owner here. Salary and distribution are not the same. What does that mean?
Yeah, well, exactly. So if you're paying yourself, for example, if you're paying yourself through an S corp,
Mhm.
you need to take a quote unquote reasonable salary.
Mhm.
That's based reasonable salary is kind of based on what your company is making.
Mhm.
You're making $1 million. A reasonable salary is not 10,000 a year. They're gonna want you to take a reasonable salary. But the other thing to think about is that when you pay yourself distributions,
Mhm.
okay, so salary gets taxed with payroll taxes.
Right.
So you get paid like everybody else. Okay, payrolls on the 1st and 15th every Friday. You get your regular paycheck,
Mhm.
but distributions are not the same thing. So your distributions do not get taxed as payroll taxes.
You're gonna pay that self-employment tax.
Well, if you take a distribution,
Mhm.
would that put you in the self-employment tax on those
It
funds?
depends if you are not, if you're a C corp, if you're S corp, the distribution, you're gonna pay some self-employment tax.
Gotcha. So, again, Dr. Hughes is the expert in this area. The important thing is just you want to have these conversations because these little small things, just the difference between a S corp and a C corp and an LLC, and just how those tax rates are different. You want to look at how you're operating your business. Do you need all the revenue that you're generating? There's a lot of things that go into play with that, but we don't have. I don't know about you guys. I'll speak for myself. I don't have any extra money to donate to Uncle Sam.
Neither do I.
Okay, all right. So so maybe you guys are all in the same boat with me. So let's review that stuff. And for anyone is listening, we're offering free benefits and payroll evaluations this month and next month. So give us a shout. Get with us at carconsulting.us. Schedule a consultation. Give us a call or check us out on social media, and we'll walk you through those numbers.
Okay. Great job. You hear it's free, free, free. Well, I'm doing 3-minute evaluation also for the month of November. And after the 15 minutes, you will be billed because time is money and
Sure.
money is effort and effort. So make sure, like you said, go through go through everything. You have time now because it's the slow season.
Yes.
Go through your subscriptions. Subscription will eat you alive. Like
Rocket
I'm
Money. I'm
sitting
gonna plug Rocket Money
there.
one more time. You can download that app. It
Okay.
literally will show you all of your subscriptions,
Right.
and it'll break it down for you. I found that I had 2 Amazon accounts and 2 Netflix accounts.
I have 2 Netflix accounts.
See, so and the beautiful thing about that is, there's been some legislation coming down that's requiring companies to make it just as easy to cancel as it was to
Yeah,
sign
because
up.
it's hard.
Yeah, they bury that stuff and
Mhm.
the 10th page on the website that you can't get there directly and stuff.
Right.
So there is some legislation coming down to make it easier for you to cancel, because that's how a lot of people get trapped. They want
Right.
to cancel, but they don't know where to go. They go back to the website, they look around, they can't find it. But Rocket Money can help you with that,
Right.
because literally with the click of a button, you can review those.
Mhm.
And if you want to cancel the subscription, you literally push the button. I don't know what happens on the tech side, how that happens, but they cancel that literally with the push of the button. So I would encourage everybody to download that app. It's a free app. It's a great way to help you manage your money, because all these little $5 for storage
Yes.
space for pictures and $2 for Google Play Store for this, and all that stuff adds up. Make sure that you're really using that stuff.
It's like when you have your water dripping in the faucet
Yes.
and you don't realize it's drip, drip, dripping. And every time that drip is costing you money because
Sure.
you see the big money. But when you have $5 here, $4 here, $10 here, $9 here, it does. And you know what? Also, check if you are on any auto subscription, because sometimes I subscribe to something and then ding, I forget a year later, it's ding and say, oh, we charge you 300 and something else. I'm like, but I thought it was only 1 year, because they have those fine prints
Yeah.
that says it auto renews without you even thinking. Because right now you're using that thing, and then later on you're not thinking, okay, 6 months you get so busy, and ding, the 12 months is over, or the 3 weeks is over, or the 4 trial, and boom, they're charging you.
No, you're 100% spot on with that. Because people forget, man. You
Right.
forget. You get that stuff going, and you forget about it. And then also sometimes they'll change the price of it. So
Right.
I've been using an app called Robo Killer.
Okay.
So it blocks like a lot of these spam calls and all the rest of it. And actually even you can even kind of troll them. Like you can have like Samuel L. Jackson answer your phone. Like, what the hell do you want when there's people calling with crazy stuff? But at $30 a year, like, that was cool. I was willing to pay that to
Right.
reduce those calls. At $130 a year, which is what the new renewal came
Wow.
up to, I'm like, I don't know about that. I might just have to hang up on it myself.
Right, because
Yeah.
that's true. Like when I was going through the airport, if you have the TSA pre-check, it was $189 because I was traveling a lot. And I'm like, I could just show up an extra 15, 20 minutes instead of paying this $189, because guess what? I could take that 881 and get a trip. I could fly to Vegas for $99 or New Orleans for $99.
So enough, Vegas trips are cheap.
$71 to go to New Orleans.
Yeah, Vegas
So
is like
you're right.
115. I'm going out there next month, like
Okay.
$120, $130
Right.
for depending
Yeah.
on who you like to fly with. But yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So let's talk tax strategy a little
Okay.
bit and wealth mindset. So let's talk a little bit about how the wealthy stay wealthy.
They don't sell asset, they borrow against them. I know I have a one of my friends reach out to me. He's going to actually show me or teach me how the wealthy borrow against their asset and don't sell their assets. And once I get all the information from him and I figure out he's watching right now and he's listening and he's texting me back and he'll ask a question. I'm gonna put you guys on how you can make money while you're sleeping, making your money make money like what the wealthy do. So stay tuned for next episode or next time next week. I will get some information about how they don't sell asset. They actually borrow against them.
Yeah, that'd be good to get someone to come in and take a look at it. I know for a fact it's just it kind of depends on how you're holding your assets. So like you have blue chip top stocks that let you borrow a certain amount if you got the money in cash, and savings account that let you borrow a certain amount. But the beautiful thing is the interest rates on those loans are very, very low.
Okay.
Most of the time, they may or may not report to your credit bureau depending on who you're getting the loan with. But the beautiful thing that I like is that the terms are pretty flexible and usually can stretch those payments out. Like I have a relationship with Navy Federal, and I'll do that quite often. So if I need to spend a significant amount of money, instead of just swiping my debit card or paying cash for that, I'll do a secure loan against my business savings account. So I'll take that money that I was going to spend, I'll put it in the savings account, I'll do a loan against it. So then I still have the asset. The asset still shows on my balance sheet, and then I'm able to make that small payment and pay that off. And the beautiful thing about it is, by the time you're done, you got what you wanted to buy because you got that from day one. But then you also have the money that you were going to spend. You still have that. So, so I think that's huge. And like for example, so if you got $1 million in real estate, instead of selling and paying capital gains, they'll use that as collateral for a line of credit, because you can keep borrowing. Because especially when it comes down to things like you mentioned gold earlier, now we're talking about real estate. These are things that typically appreciate. There may be dips in the market from time to time, but for the most part, those are always going to be higher than they were to begin with. So leverage that collateral, because if you sell that $1 million house that you owe free and clear, and you get that $1,000,000, yeah, you spend it, but guess what? In 5 years and 10 years, the house is worth 1.5, is worth 2 million. Whereas you could have just leveraged that, took a loan or a line of credit, or took out a mortgage if it was paid off, and then you still have that asset to control. And I think that's one of the big differences.
Yeah, but remember, capital gain for a single person is 250,000. You can sell a house and not pay, and I think married couple is 500,000. So we can look at that too. Okay, when they do sell, they use a 1031 exchange. Can you tell the listeners what is a 1031 exchange?
Yes. So 1031 exchange is a loophole in the IRS tax code, which allows for you to sell a property that you've made a profit on, and then you don't have to pay capital gains tax if you buy a property of equal or greater value. But here's the catch where people are getting caught up, is you only have 45 days to do it. So sometimes it's better just to pay the taxes, because sometimes people are, when you get desperate and you're under a time crunch and you got to do something now, sometimes you'll make a bad deal. So sometimes you would have bought a property at a higher price than you should have paid because you're so worried about paying the taxes, but you lost more on the deal than you would have paid on the taxes. So maybe in some cases it's going to be better just to pay the taxes and wait till the right deal comes along, versus just trying to beat yourself up because you want to avoid paying the taxes so much that you just jump into another deal that may not be the best for you.
And then remember, when you're paying taxes, you can make payments. People don't realize the IRS, they will let you make payments up to 2-3 years. They'll let you make payments because people, I don't want to file my taxes. I have a client right now that haven't done any taxes from 2009. Ooh. She's 80 something years old and she's in the hole. Look at your grandparents and your parents. They may say, okay, I have Social Security and I'm not paying taxes, but some older people are still having a second job, or having a business, or still having a career. Check up on your grandmother and your grandfathers, because this lady right now, she's in a stickler. And remember, if the IRS send you, she's 80 some years old, when they start sending you letters and you're not answering them, it goes from a lien to a levy. So all of the things that were supposed to be generational wealth for you could be taken away in an instant. Look and talk to your parents and your grandparents. Please look and talk to your parents and your grandparents.
Yeah, please do. because you know a lot of times those tax liens,
Right.
those will affect those properties and things that people were going to pass on. They'll put a lien
Right.
on that house. They'll do different things, and those levies are no fun.
Nope.
Man, you'll see the money a bit in your account, look like you have money, and your available balance will be zero because they come in and get every
Right.
penny. And just so you know, it's very important to work out those payment plans. Be proactive with it. The IRS is very flexible because
They are.
they want the money. So they'd rather have you call and make a payment plan than having to chase you down, hire people, and all the rest of that. So make sure that we're doing that because when you don't do that, man, you just put yourself in a bad situation. Those penalties accrue how often?
Oh,
Interest
compounding daily interest
daily.
and not just interest. Remember, you also get penalties. So it's not just the interest, you also get a penalty. Sometimes they'll waive the interest, but they're not the penalties, but they won't raise the interest. So you need to be very careful. Remember, taxes is a game to be mastered, not a bill to be feared. I always bring back to my client. I had a client sit in front of me, made over, to you maybe a small amount, but in his mind, he made over $200,000-300,000. He's like, I'm paying 10,000 in taxes. So I said, would you want it to be flipped the other way? You only make $10,000 a year. When you are with the big boys, you're gonna have to pay the big boy games. You understand what I'm saying? You got to bar when you're with the big dogs. So if you're making $200,000-300,000, you have to be strategic in what you do.
You got to be strategic,
right?
And there's legal ways to
Right.
invest that money, to save that money, to put that money away
Right.
where you're not going to be penalized. So you got to be strategic with it. And I mean, let's be serious, guys. When it comes down to being self-employed and being an entrepreneur and a business owner, we should be paying taxes because the goal is to make a profit. Right. So if we're making a profit, then there's some taxes to be paid. So it's okay. Let's pay our fair share of taxes because on the flip side, yes, it's inconvenient now. No, you don't like writing a check to the government because what did I get? The same thing I got if I would have made $1 or made But the thing that's going to help you for your business is that your income documents are going to look right. So when you need that loan to go buy that new piece of real estate for your company, we need to qualify for something. You can qualify. Whereas I'm sure you can talk about this, Dr. Huie. They want to write everything off, and then they surprised when they don't qualify for nothing. What do you mean I can't buy this $400,000 house? I make plenty of money. Yeah, but you don't show it.
Right.
So so that's that's wisdom right there. That's wisdom.
You're right. Whenever you sit in front of your tax professional, I'm a tax professional, ASFP certified. So when you sit in front of your tax professional, you need to tell them your 1-year goal and your 2-year goal. Because if they are really a professional, they will tell you if you make $100,000, like AC say, you can't write off $99,000 and expect when you come to the bank, you have $1. That makes no sense. And then the IRS will look at you like you're crazy. How did you make $100,000? How you live off of $1?
Yeah, right.
You live off of $1. That makes no sense.
None. So yeah, let's use a little bit of common sense.
But common sense ain't common. Remember.
It sure isn't. It seems to be becoming less and less common.
I know, right?
It seems like as technology advances, it seems like as a community, as a group, it seems like we're dumbed down.
Right.
There's individuals who are leveraging it the right way, and people who are getting smarter. But just as a whole, it just seems like people just kind of are getting lazy because the machines do so much for us, but you still got to learn how to write it yourself. Just because the computer can write this letter for you or whatnot, you still need to know how to write. You still need to know how to add and all the rest of it. And I think that's kind of what's happening, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're losing that human touch. Like I tell everybody, my son, he's 17. Right now, he's not talking to me, but shout out, that's part of growing up. So he's like, Mommy, I'm calling the phone company and I'm here. Press 1, press 2, hold on. We're losing the human touch. So here it goes with the AI boom, right? AC, what's happening with the AI boom? What's popping on the AI and data center boom?
Yeah, huge. A lot of there's tons of data centers that are going up all over the country. All this stuff that we have that's in the quote unquote cloud is not really in the cloud. It's in a data center somewhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's not, you don't have to house it on your system locally, but it is held on the server somewhere. So like I think it was like 2 days ago, Amazon Web Services was having some major issues, and so they're one of those big data center providers where they'll host the sites for the banks and different
Oh,
people.
okay.
So they're holding that stuff. So there was tons of applications that were down earlier this week. They had some type of technology issue, which
Glitch.
some type of glitch. Yeah, absolutely.
And I
Um,
think it cost billions. I think it was like $300 billion of business that were affected.
it is a lot. I have one of our companies, Divino Properties.
Mm-hmm.
We do property preservation stuff for investors, but we use a platform called Service Fusion to
Okay.
manage that. Service Fusion was down. We couldn't manage any of our work orders, any of our invoices. It was
Wow.
the majority of the day. So yeah, but that's what. But there's a huge boom going on with these data centers
Okay.
and the infrastructure companies that go along with them. So they're creating some great opportunities for those utility companies, those cabling companies, also those tradesmen. Those data centers need to be heated and cooled and have plumbing and electricity and all
Mm-hmm.
that good stuff. So there's some great opportunities out there. Somebody's got to build the servers, the power grids, and mine the materials for all the AI tech.
Okay. So smart investors and business owners are paying attention to that. Look what supports those industries. So as an educator, I should be like putting in the mind of my kids because the kids are like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. The old jobs that we used to have right now are not the jobs of the future. So
Yeah.
I think when we're talking, we need to be not afraid of the technology, but embrace the technology.
You got to embrace it. Technology's not going nowhere. You can't put it back in the box
Mm-hmm.
once it's out there. And just when it comes down to things like this, like yes, we're going through a change. Yes, there will be some jobs and some folks and careers that will be disrupted, but there also will be new industries and new careers and new support that's going to come because of this. So that's the way you stay ahead of it, is just kind of thinking about those things. Smart investors and business owners are paying attention and looking at the support industries to that. Like for example, but you always want to follow the money.
Right.
Watch what the big boys are doing. Watch where these private equity firms are putting the money. Watch where BlackRock is going. Watch where these big players are going. It can give you some good insights. But all of that mining stuff, all of that stuff with the infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
big, big, big. And I think it was kind of a smart play too, because as they're building these data centers,
Right.
everybody wants these data centers. Well, they want these data centers in their community. It's a lot of money generated. But the thing is that because of this, it's kind of forcing the electric grid to be upgraded.
Okay.
So because they need more and more power. So I live in Fayetteville. They just put a big one over there. I can't think of the name of it, but they had to put these all like a bunch of the power poles. They put these big power poles up, to run all the power in there. So it's huge.
So you know what's happening. We talk about wealth is health. We are, believe it or not, you may say the AI and the power struggle, but we are seeing, I saw on the TV yesterday, a rise in breast cancer. But remember, all of these things are emitting certain radioactive and radiation things through it. Like that's why you see some community, like 5 people are dying in the community or 6 people, because remember, with progress is gonna come some people are gonna suffer in the progress. Do you see that? Because I did hear about the
Yeah.
breast cancer, and it's the breast cancer that's becoming not treatable, like
Ooh.
because we're walking around with these cell phones and we're walking around with these ear pods and we're walking around with these iPhone watches. You see, I don't wear a iWatch. I don't do it. I don't put my cell phone on my body.
Yeah.
I don't put my earpiece in because no, prostate cancer is high. Why? Because men keep their cell phones on their body.
Sure.
So we need to be very careful about this technology. Yes, it's all good and well, but limit yourself on these technology. I know AC all for the AI boom and the business growth, but remember, you can't do nothing if you don't have your health. Limit yourself, and also with the depression coming in of your kids and your friends, with you just constantly on these devices. So limit yourself.
It's stressful too, and I have some friends like their arms and shoulders and stuff be cramping because not because they're texting nonsense, or they're actually doing business, but like that's a lot, man. That repetitive movement with your hands. So yeah, let's stay healthy, man. Let's think about that, because a lot of these things that come out, we got to think about this new technology. We don't know what the adverse effects are,
Right.
because a lot of this stuff is really new.
Right.
So and things are changing so fast. So it's years and years later.
Yeah.
Like for example, like I mean, come on, the baby powder thing. Like
Yes.
how many ladies grow up?
Babies.
Baby powder,
Baby
powder on
powder
the
up the baby,
babies,
baby.
baby powder, everything, you know. And then now we find out that
Cancer,
yeah,
ovarian cancer on the little girls and the little boys, right? And
it's,
with the boom, 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 boom. I think really everything is going so fast right now. That I think we need to slow down a little. Like we're just losing the human touch. Like I see the robots on Facebook just walking to us. I'm like, oh my God. Do you think in your time you'll be seeing where technology is advanced right now? Where is that?
oh wow. The AI piece kind of got me. I did think we would see robots and stuff like
Mhm.
that, but I didn't see the AI piece coming to where you can. I mean, it's just crazy the stuff they can do. They can clone somebody's voice. They can
Right.
make these videos that look just like someone.
Mhm.
It's kind of scary. Some of those things they can do. But no, I didn't. I didn't really see it going there. I thought we'd have been to some of the Jetson stuff,
Right.
like maybe the
Flying
flying car.
cars.
I guess we did get to the video phones. I guess that's
Right.
same as FaceTime and all the rest of that. But yeah, no, it's evolving rapidly.
Mhm.
And the thing is, the more technology advances, the faster it doubles. Like the
Mhm.
rate of information doubling, like it used to take, I think, 14 years and went down to 7 years, and now it's like information is doubling like every year and a half. Like the information is doubling
Right.
what's out there. So yeah, let's definitely take care of ourselves. Definitely do that.
Okay. So what do wealthy people do differently that people in the middle class or the lower middle class or the lower middle class, like what is the mindset and what's three things wealthy people do differently?
Yeah. Well, first of all, they deploy their money
Mhm.
into income producing assets.
Okay.
Um, so if you're gonna be wealthy, you need to buy things that are gonna make you money, not
Mhm.
just things that you like. Um, after you invest it and the investment comes back with some dividends, then go buy the stuff you like.
Mhm.
Because but yeah, what they're doing is they're deploying money into income producing assets like real estate,
Mhm.
businesses, equities. They don't just save; they invest strategically. I just want to hit on that because sometimes people are not really sure what to invest in and how to invest,
Right.
but you got to investigate. You need to talk to your professionals, talk to your advisors, your financial advisors, those folks who can help you out. Because
Mhm.
if you're putting cash in the bank and just saving cash, you're losing because inflation and the cost of living is going up. So if you put 100,000 in the bank today and you go draw that out 10 years from now, it's not going to buy the same thing that the 100,000 would buy today.
Right.
So that's one of the main things that they're doing. They invest strategically.
Okay. They treat taxes as a game. They use the LLC, the S corps, and trust to legally reduce your liability. Remember, I told you if you're a W two, I'm not a legal advisor. I'm not an attorney, but get you a LLC. You understand? Set up yourself. Turn one of your hobbies into making extra money. You cannot just live on a W two unless you are in the triple figures W twos. You need to always have that cushion. That's what we talked about like 3, 4 sessions ago. Start something that you can put away something extra if you're just living from your W two,
Yeah.
and also use it as a saving technique for your taxes. There's certain things that you use previously that you can write off. Like I was listening to this guy. He said, I never go out on a meal as a meal. It's a business transaction.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go out to eat, I'm not the loser. I'm always the winner. I get full and it's a tax write-off. You
Yep.
have to know the strategies and you have to play the game like how the rich play the game.
You better. You
Right?
better. Absolutely. So they don't ask, can I afford it? They ask, will this build cash flow or equity?
Right.
Um, Sometimes we find ourselves asking the wrong question. Like, can I afford this car? Um, can I afford this house? There's nothing wrong with asking that, but I think a better question sometimes to ask is there a way that I can invest this money so that I'll be able to buy this thing that I want to buy? Is there any way that I can deploy my money? And I think wealthy people look at their money as soldiers. They're like soldiers. You deploy your soldiers. You want them to come back safely. You don't want them to
Right.
die out there on the battlefield. You want them to come back. So we want to invest those dollars, let them come back, so we can redeploy them and let those funds come back.
Yep.
And they're very strategic. very strategic with what they're doing. And one thing, another thing that wealthy folks do that sometimes the folks in the middle class don't is wealthy people pay for advisors.
Right.
They pay for advisors.
Right.
They pay for the tax strategy. They pay to have a good consultant to help them build their business. They pay for these things because sometimes you can cut corners and do it yourself. But one of my favorite sayings: don't jump over dollars to chase pennies.
Right.
Because that's what it comes down to. And I think I was looking at something that said the average business owner spends about 80 hours a year on bookkeeping functions. So if you
multiply
80 times 200,
your average salary.
Yeah, most of them say they're worth about $200 an hour. So what's that? 80,
2 times 80 is 16.
Yeah, so what's that? 160? Is that 160,000 or is it 16,000?
16,000.
16,000.
0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, add the 0.
Would it cost 16,000 for you to help them with tax strategy, Dr. Huie?
You know what I'm saying? But then they want to nitpick, and I would 16,000. I would. That's why. Thank you for your referral. Also, people are starting to see and think. Like I tell everybody, you can always make money. You cannot make your time. You hear what's 80 hours they're spending?
That's 2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks of your time when you could be on vacation with your family.
And all you did was stop yourself from pay side activities.
Right.
Because you probably were doing pay side activities before you stopped to go take care of the bookkeeping stuff.
Right.
Not making any extra money with the bookkeeping. You need to keep up with it so you know what's going on.
Right.
But it's not a revenue generating task.
Right.
So stick to the pay side activities and outsource those other things and get help, because it's a lot to master as a business owner. You have to be an expert at whatever it is you're a professional at that people are paying you for. It's too much to be an expert in all the other stuff too. So get you a good team around you so you can ask these questions so you don't have to figure everything out yourself.
Some people like being busy. You know that, right? They like to feel like I'm busy, so I'm important. So they're busy being busy. Like when I first started, I felt like everything I'm doing. Now I have people around me that do, because it takes and lessens some of the stress on me, so I can go talk and advertise and network and do certain things. So guess what? Being busy, it just burns you out.
It does. There's a difference between being busy and being productive. And some people get confused. They think because they're running around all day long, their phone's ringing all day long, they're doing all this, that they're being productive, but really they're not.
Being busy.
They're being busy. They're doing a whole lot of things that probably are not moving the needle. And one thing that I do in the evening is I plan out my day for the next day, the top activities, the top 5 things that I need to accomplish. Yep, I see your trusty planner there, and I'm faithful. I got notebooks and planners, all that good stuff, because that helps you to organize yourself and organize your time. Because anything that you can delegate and things that are not your highest purpose as a business owner, you need to put that in the system so that your employees can help you take care of that. And you need to spend your time doing the things that they can't do, generating more business, going out, forming those strategic partnerships, making those strategic plays, all the rest of it. You keep a receipt.
See, I even keep my receipts.
Stapled on the day.
Red Lobster, $60.
Man,
100 and something. What I do, I check it off, and that's what I tell somebody. Said, "Oh, what about my receipts?" I keep my journal, and I know that this day and stuff, I write it down. See, all important. So whenever I put this up safe when I'm done at the end of the year.
Yes.
So if I ever need to come back to it, it's there. I'll get a new one and I buy a new one. So that's what I do.
Yeah,
and this only costs $9.99. That's all it costs to organize yourself. I tell everybody, print out your bills for the month and put it in here. So that's business owner. You can start doing that now. Buy one of these. They're real cheap. And go through your bank account for January and put your information in January. See, I have where I put the Cab County 403B, and I have everything that came in Business Advantage. See, my bank account, business bank account. So these are strategies, Bank of America. So this is not an expensive strategy. You don't have to do everything at once. Just put it in for the month and then add up that month and do add up instead of being coming to me and like, here's a bag of receipts and here, and I'm charging you for the bags of receipts.
Yes, she's charging for the bags of receipts, but not only that, but if you are just keeping your receipts that way, you're not reviewing anything, you're just stacking up your receipts, you have no idea what you're really doing, what your numbers really look like. You have some idea as money's coming and going, but you can't see all that stuff as you're going through. So yeah, I think that's a great strategy to organize because it's gonna help you to understand where you are, and also help you in your tax preparation bills and bills with your professionals because you're gonna be more organized.
Okay,
So
so, how can they reach you, AC? We haven't even. You can reach me, Dr. Shannon C. Huie, on Facebook at Dr. Shannon C. Huie, the Tax Diva, Instagram, the Tax Diva. You can reach me, Shannon C. Huie, on Google. My phone number is 404-791-8840. If you have any old taxes out there that needs to be done, the IRS, they are shut down, but they are not shut down. And people think October 15th was the last day. You have up to 3 years to be in the legal limits of not doing your taxes and you're not charged. But if you owe money, that's the difference. People don't realize. If you owe money, you are paying compounding interest daily on the penalties that you do have and the fine. So
it's just a better strategy to stay organized because if you end up owing, you're paying penalties and interest from the day that you owed that.
Right.
And if you actually are owed a refund,
you lose it.
You get no interest.
Right.
And they don't give you anything extra, but you lose
it after the 4th year. Yes. So after the 4th year of you not filing. See, if you owe them, it's indefinite. They can come back to you for indefinite. And some people say the statute of limitation for 10 years. But we went to the IRS conference. The 10 statute of limitation does not stop if you never started. Like if you started the taxes and you owe it, then that 10 years. But if you never started it, there is no statute of limitation. And you can Google that. There's no statute of limitation because people in the business, but this don't mean this. No, it's not. I'm taking the test and it says indefinitely if you owe the IRS. If they owe you after the 3rd year, which ends in June of the next year. So remember, taxes is 3 years in reserve. So now this is 2025. If they owe you in 2021 or 2020, you may not get that money. And I had a nurse came and sat with me. She ended up getting back almost $9,000. She left me a Google review. She's like, I was so scared. I thought I owed. How do you know what you owe if you didn't do your taxes?
It's just kind of like when I talk to people and I ask them about like their credit and things like that. Some people, they'll say, "Oh, I got great credit," and you pull it and it's not great.
Right.
Or the vice versa. You'll talk to someone and say, "I don't think my credit's that good," and you look at it, it's perfect.
Right.
It's like so that's the point of working with a professional,
right?
Because you don't know. You're seeing your individual tax stuff, and you're having your limited knowledge dealing with that. Versus someone who's done hundreds or thousands of returns and doing hundreds of returns per year. Obviously, their IQ is going to be higher because they're seeing that more often. They're interacting with that. Right. They know how to navigate. So let's do that, people. Let's switch the narrative. So many people will pay a top dollar for designer things. Let's pay top dollar for the best advice and the best advisors to help us. Because that's going to help you win a lot more than that new gold chain or that new car or anything like that. So,
and then with taxes, the credits change. Sometimes there's a credit that's in 1 year that may not be in the next year.
Facts.
Right. Some like even I think this year all the EV credits. I don't know why he must be really upset, but EV credits, some of those. He's revengeful and he's very calculated in what he does. I think they were giving you like $4,000 to buy a EV car or whatever. I don't think that $4,000 is either a down payment or you can use it as a tax credit. I think December will be the last for you to be able to use the down payment for the $4,000 of the EV credit, or even be able to use it as a credit or use it as a down payment.
Yeah, and one of the big sticking points why the big beautiful bill is hung up is on one of those tax credits, which is regarding the insurance subsidies for the healthcare market, because there's a lot of people who are getting free or significantly subsidized coverage because of those tax credits, and they're talking about taking those away, which will be a dramatic.
It's already taken away. The bill went through.
Did it go through?
They passed it there? Yes.
No, but they that's why it shut down, because they were.
They're looking for something else, right? But the big beautiful bill is.
Okay. I'm not. I could be mistaken there. I just, my thought was I was hearing that it was held up because of those subsidies, which was a big deal. It's going to make a big change for a lot of people. So like it's going to change what I have to pay for my health insurance. Like an extra $15,000 more, per year. Yeah. Huge difference. So, that's a big deal. So let's talk a little bit about, legacy,
Mhm.
trust, and business planning.
Okay.
That's the end game, the exit strategy. And when you start your business, like I don't know if you ever heard it, people will tell you to do this when you're planning. Start with the end in
In
mind.
mind.
Yeah, so do the same thing with your business. Start with the end in mind. So where do I want this to go, and then let's work backwards to where we are now, and then we need to go forward.
But if you have a client that say, I don't know what the end goal is, because my broker, he works 80, he is 77 years old. Shout out to my real estate broker. He doesn't want to retire. He
Sure.
doesn't have an end game. So like we're pushing this, but everybody may not have an end game or strategy game. And he's not saying it's wrong or right, but if you do, start from the beginning, working backwards.
Sure, and even if you don't, even if you love what you're doing, and it's not taxing on you physically, and it gives you joy to do it, by all means keep going. But at some point, we're gonna all leave this planet.
Right.
So if you didn't position that business to where an investor will want to acquire that business, you didn't make it exit ready. When you exit, by you taking your last breath, you still don't want that to go away. You still want your family to be able to sell that and do something, because you put all these years in to build this up.
Right.
And then just for it to go away. So 70% of businesses never sell; they just go away.
Right.
And that's trillions of dollars disappearing with the T, trillion. So over the next 10 years, there's 100 trillion in businesses will vanish over the next decade because the owners didn't plan their exits. The kids don't want the business.
Nope.
They didn't build it to be exit ready. So private equity and investors don't want to buy it because you had a glorified job. And then all this just goes away,
Yeah, so if you are a business owner, make sure you exit on your terms. What do they need to do?
Yeah, you wanna connect with us for a free business health checkup. So we're gonna take a look at those key business systems inside of your business. We're gonna connect you with Dr. Huie to take a look at the tax strategy. We're gonna look at your capital stack, your tech stack. We're gonna look at how your business is positioned so that you can exit on your own terms. And if you'd like to buy one of these businesses, it's a great time. It's probably one of the few times in history to where it's probably to your advantage to find one of these businesses out there and work out a strategic way to purchase that versus starting something from scratch. Because there's so many people getting ready to retire.
Or losing their jobs or losing their business, because remember, the cash flow is not flowing right now. Okay, so remember to set up your family revocable trust. And also a general power of attorney, because I'm in a situation right now with one of my friends that you need to have trust one person, because you could be here tomorrow, today, and you can have a stroke or you can be in a car accident. And guess what? All your money is sitting there and somebody else is benefiting. The bank is benefiting from your money because no one can touch it, because you don't have any living will or living trust or living anything. So reach out to somebody that you can trust. You don't want all your money unless you want it to go to your dogs or your cats. And even then, somebody needs to have the money to take care of your dogs or your cats.
Yeah, Fido can't cash that check.
Right, so, can't cash that check. So have a
human, one of the two-legged friends, and let them take care of it. But you wanna when you look at that stuff, you wanna look at the so when you're looking at your trust, you wanna look at a power of attorney, like you said. So someone, if you can't transact on your behalf, someone can help you pay your bills, take care of things, and also advanced medical directives. Your healthcare directives, your will, and your are all included in that. So it's good to have those things in place, because again, we don't know when these things are going to happen. We all feel like we're going to live for another 50 years, but we're not. Some of us will, some of us won't. But the key is we all have a certain amount of minutes in our bank account that the good Lord gave us, but none of us know what the balance is. We just got to wake up every morning and hope that our transactions approved and we get keep going for another day.
Okay, so next week's topic, we'll be talking about new structures, building a 2026 entity like that you can go and I'll tell you how to do it, from going to the iris.gov to Secretary of State to everything. To start a business, start 2026 owning your own.
How many years where you don't have to turn a profit before they mess
5 years.
5 years. So all those investments that you're making into that business that you want to make are tax deductible
up to 5 years.
Up to 5 years, you don't have to worry about it. So Man, this is the end of our hour. I can't believe, family, I can't believe it came
Right.
to an hour so quick. But remember, year end isn't about stress, it's about strategy. So let's make sure that we book those free year end consultations and business health checkups with Car Consultant and TaxNet LLC. You can reach me at 470-478-4045. You can visit carconsulting.us, or you can find us on any of the social medias under Car Consulting. Dr. Huie, how
I
can they
am
reach you?
Dr. Shanann C. Huie. I'm the Tax Diva. Stay smart, stay ready, stay wealthy. You can get me on IG as Shanann Huie. You can get me on Google. Just Google my name, Shanann with the A-N-A-N. And people always say, did you spell your name wrong? No, that's how my daddy spelled it. It's Shanann. And this is the Wealth Code Unlocked.
You've just unlocked the wealth code. One combination
Nation
at a
at a
time.
time.
We'll see you next week. Same time, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Stay safe. Health is wealth. And we'll talk to you next week.